This video is going to be a little bit different than everything that I've done so far. And honestly, it's one of those videos that I wish I never really even had to make. So if you don't know by now, Chester Bennington, the frontman of the band Linkin Park, committed suicide on July 20th, 2017. Chester apparently hung himself in his private residence. Now, this affects me personally, and I'm sure it affects tons of other people around the world. But my story goes a little something like this. You see, back in 2006, I was a really awkward freshman in high school. I just got out of Muslim private school, and I had not adjusted well at all. I was constantly made fun of, I felt like I had no friends, and all I wanted to do was come home crying every day. To make matters worse, at home, I didn't feel like I belonged there either because my parents had a certain vision of how they wanted me to live my life, and that was in a very South Asian manner. So on one side, I was trying to stick to my South Asian roots and make my parents happy, but on the other side, I was going to school every day, trying to be as American as I could so that I wouldn't be made fun of. My life was pretty much a living hell. Amidst all this confusion, one day I was at home on my computer and I found this song called Numb. It was by this weird band who had this one dude screaming into a microphone and another dude rapping, and I was like, what is this? But if you've ever had that moment when you hear a song and you just connect to it on an emotional level, this was that moment for me. And it was the first time that I had actually ever felt like I connected with a song. In fact, it was the first time in a very long time that I felt like I connected with anything. It was that 3 minutes and something seconds of escape that I needed in order to just feel like I wasn't alone. So after binging on a few of their songs, I ended up Googling each band member and reading up on them. And doing that made me connect with them even more. But one of them stuck out to me, and that was Chester Bennington. As I read up on Chester, I immediately connected with him on a personal level because of the amount of shit that he had gone through in his life. And I know that sounds messed up, but when you're going through something like this, it makes you feel less shitty when you know somebody else has gone through it and they've made it through. Chester had grown up in not the best circumstances. He was bullied almost every day of his life. At a very young age, he got addicted to various kinds of drugs. And honestly, he went through some things no human being should ever have to go through. It was nothing compared to what I was going through at the time, but it made me realize that if Chester could go through all of this and still find a light at the end of the tunnel, I had no excuse. And in that sense, and in that moment, Chester Bennington became one of my first mentors. And that's exactly what makes the circumstances of his death so hard to deal with. Honestly, I still don't know how I feel about the whole situation. A part of me doesn't want to believe it was real. A part of me wants to believe that maybe he was murdered. But I'm starting to accept it slowly. The point is, though, we never really know what someone could be going through. If you're having suicidal tendencies or thoughts, I just want to tell you, it will get better. And I know you've probably heard that 1,000 times, but the truth is that's only half of the equation. The other half is that you have to put the work in. And that's coming from somebody who has put the work in. Back in 2006, my life was hell. I felt like I had no friends. I felt like I was super socially awkward, and I just didn't know how to overcome that. But since then, I've put in the work. I've read self-help books. I've honestly started this YouTube channel to help others learn from what I have learned from. Honestly, today, I feel like I live a million light years away from who I was then. And it was only because I decided and made a conscious effort that I wanted to change my circumstances. And for some of you, that may mean just being honest with your parents. That may mean that you need to go seek out help from a mental health counselor. And I want to tell you that everything that you're going through right now, it's okay. You're allowed to have these feelings, but what you're not allowed to do is do nothing about it. You need to go seek help if you're feeling this way. At the very least, before you make a rash decision, call the suicide hotline. I'm going to leave the number over here as well as in the description below. In fact, everyone who survives a suicide attempt say they regretted it the immediate second that they made that decision. And if you don't believe me, again, I'm going to leave these articles in the description below so you can read them. It's honestly a shame that a man who dealt with so much and inspired so many to live happy lives despite whatever they might be going through, went out in such a way. If you or anyone you know is dealing with suicidal thoughts or tendencies, please share this video with them, because it's something that can be completely avoided if the proper steps are taken. Thank you to Chester and Linkin Park for getting me through my hard times, because I honestly don't know if I'd be the person I am today if I didn't have the music that I had then. And also thank you to all of you keeping your heads up high while going through whatever the hell you're going through. And one last time, because it's so important for some of you to hear this right now, it will get better. Put the work in and keep fighting. Thank you.